Downtown Milwaukee re-emerged during the 1990s as an exciting place to live, work, and play. A number of projects attracted new activity and investment. Their success and the desire to build on their momentum prompted preparation of a downtown master plan, a plan to guide development and create a downtown that is appealing to visitors, investors, and residents.
One of the things that a plan can do is foster development, so you add more value. For building owners and developers, the downtown really had become kind of confusing about what they were expected to do. We had a permitting process that took too long and zoning that was too oriented towards separate uses. People would own a building, they'd want to put housing in it, then they'd run into the city code, which would block them. So one of the great things that's going to happen with the new downtown plan, it'll allow housing to be in a lot more of the downtown.
In fact, residential development is a major ingredient, and the plan had a head start. Over 1,000 housing units of various types have been built or are under construction downtown, most in former office or warehouse space, about 1/4 of them on the river. The plan envisions 20,000 new downtown residents in the next 24 years.
25 years ago, everybody was turning cities into central business districts and scouring out the housing, trying to make everything into a big office building, and that really didn't work. And I think we can, with this plan, it'll help us to add value, create a place where people want to live and also shop and work, all mixed together as downtown should be. The great downtowns of the world, all over the world, are places where people live, and that's what this downtown. So that's one of the real major components.
Expanding the number and variety of tourist and entertainment venues is another major component. The Calatrava addition to the Milwaukee Art Museum is unique in the world. The Harley-Davidson Museum at Schlitz Park should increase weekday and weeknight activities. The $12 million Riverwalk has helped restore the Milwaukee River as a center of downtown and focused development there. The Midwest Express Center is having an enormous impact on downtown and the hospitality industry. 600 new hotel rooms under construction or completed.
You know, there's a lot of wonderful energy that is now taking place, and you know, these great cranes and all this wonderful construction, but there really has not been a master plan. It will allow us to have a little more vision, a little more foresight about where we go as a community, and really where development and where our focus ought to be as we go out into the new millennium. Although the tourism industry may be driving some of this development, certainly we as citizens have an opportunity to all share in this really great bounty.
The master plan is the result of a planning partnership with the City of Milwaukee and the Milwaukee Redevelopment Corporation, the major players.
We're the business community's not-for-profit civic developer, and our mission has always been to work closely with local government, city and county, in undertaking those projects that don't want to quite happen by themselves, but we really want to see happen.
Projects like the Milwaukee Center Theater District, the Grand Avenue Mall development, Yankee Hill Apartments, and East Point Commons on the east side, and the Library Hill apartment complex on the west side. The new master plan was attractive to MRC for several reasons.
One was we like to get people excited about downtown, and we knew that that planning process would. Obviously, there's a lot of ideas for people to discuss, debate, and we believe that those kinds of idea sharing opportunities provide us with I think more publicity for downtown and more use for downtown. The other thing is that I believe that the plan allows us to set some good priorities for what we're going to do in the future. And given our long history of working with city government, we want to establish those priorities together. What are the things that we want to do most that we should direct our public and private resources to?
While the plan guides city development priorities for downtown, it also informs the private sector and residents about community priorities.
It really helps business because it lays out a development blueprint for the city, so you can understand where hotels are going, where restaurants are going, where shopping is going, where the different elements that make a city fit together. In terms of attracting people downtown, if you've got people living downtown, you've got much greater opportunity for commerce to occur downtown, which I think benefits not only Milwaukee, but also benefits the region, because a healthy downtown, a healthy city, is key to the development and further development of the region.
Work on the Downtown Master Plan began in 1997, including input from the people who live, work, visit, and are interested in downtown Milwaukee. A visual preference survey composed of local images, simulations, and alternatives from other locations was shown to about 1,600 people. The 230 images were rated as being appropriate and desirable or inappropriate and undesirable for downtown Milwaukee. Hundreds of other people participated in different ways. Review sessions gave them the opportunity to take a look at the vision for downtown and comment on its components. There were community questionnaires, workshops, which looked at where development should occur and what kind it should be. Once prepared, the master plan went before the City Plan Commission for an overview and a discussion on the significance of projects already implemented or underway.
Show us what downtown can be. It can be a vibrant place that's alive with people and vitality, an appealing place that celebrates the urban form, and an economic engine for our region and for the state overall. The analysis and recommendations of this plan will signal, as John said, to the market what this community's priorities are for downtown development.
In addition to residential and commercial goals, the plan recommended that downtown be more attractive and convenient for pedestrians. It also called for making travel easier for vehicles, with parking easy to find and close to major destinations. To achieve maximum benefits from private and public investments, the plan recognizes what are called catalytic projects that have the effect of encouraging additional investment.
14 very specific projects, but they were identified because of the assumptions and conclusions about the spin-off ramifications that each one of these developments will have. And our feeling was that if we are going to revitalize the pedestrian activity on the street, we need to consider the facades, the streetscapes, and the entire pedestrian experience of that entire length of street from the river really all the way up to the library. We have proposed a schematic infill of this site which looks at the concept of places like Pike's Market in Seattle. And what this market would do is begin with that sort of farmers market, year-round grocer stalls along the Pike's Market theme and begin to expand into an entire district. What everybody in the workshop wanted this street and suggested that this street be designed as is a tree-lined street focusing those two, connecting those two important monuments, the county courthouse complex up on the hill, City Hall in the middle of everything, and then the lake out at the very end. What happens is that the trees naturally lead your eye directly to the focal point of City Hall, and it enhances the dignity and the importance of City Hall. Our original site concept plan for these 11 blocks was to think about a really mixed-use, one-of-a-kind zone that capitalized on the exciting investments and all of the successes of the businesses along Water Street.
Other plan objectives, a recommendation that the underutilized MacArthur Square be redesigned to allow vehicle access and short-term parking around a landscape square. Expansion of the downtown trolley, and better connections between primary attractions and meeting places. The plan proposes continuing the success of the Riverwalk with additional segments and connections to the lakefront. Downtown Milwaukee and its surrounding neighborhoods should both benefit from the plan.
These are all things that add to real estate value. We've had over $35 million of housing development along the Milwaukee River since the Riverwalk was put in place. That's all tax base that helps to relieve the tax burden in other parts of the city.
The main goal of the master plan is to influence private sector decisions regarding downtown development. While governments have a role to play, Mayor Norquist hopes the private sector will take the lead.
When the government steps in, when the city starts throwing money all over the place, it screws up that market. What we're learning is that we can grow faster without spending taxpayers' dollars on things where private investment can do a better job.
It is my understanding from all of the reaction that I've seen in both the business community and government that we very much want to implement the ideas that are laid out in the plan. Now, there's a lot of ideas there. I mean, some people are going to get more excited about than others, but I think starting with really improving the way downtown looks is going to be something we're going to get going with right away. And then when it comes to developing some bricks and mortar projects, we're going to pick a few and we're going to work on them.
Market factors will largely determine the pace and amount of investment. The mayor predicts 90% of the recommendations will be implemented, although some might take a while.
In 1904, Alfred Kloss, a great architect from Milwaukee, designed the Riverwalk. And we didn't build it till 90 years later. And some of this plan may not be done for some time to come, but a lot of it will. I'd say half of it will be done within the next 2 or 3 years. And I think it's going to add a lot of value. It's going to make downtown more fun, greater place to live, greater place to shop. I think we'll all enjoy it.
Meet Roberto Duarte, one of the members of the Milwaukee Police Department's Bicycle Patrol Program. Founded in 1990 as part of the Community Policing Initiative, it now has about 30 members riding Wisconsin-made Trek mountain bikes. Officer Duarte has spent 3 of his 16 years on the force with the bike patrol. Those who support the program say it offers many advantages. It allows officers to patrol urban areas where squad cars can't go. It also lets them interact with people in the neighborhoods. They get to know each other and maintain the close contact with their beats that foot patrol officers are noted for.
That for many people in our society today, the police are the only ones making a difference in their lives. Community policing means that we become more accessible to the community, we become more of a partner with the community in trying to do something about the quality of their lives. Bicycle patrol is certainly one method to do that. The officers are obviously easily identifiable. They're into the community. The children and at least the adults now that have come in contact with our officers on bicycle patrol have become very pleased with the whole notion. But more importantly, and I want to remind everybody that these are police officers doing a police job.
Alderman Michael Murphy led the effort in the Common Council to establish police bicycle patrols in Milwaukee.
Originally, when I proposed the idea, there was quite a great deal of snickering. Originally, they thought, oh, well, cops on, riding bicycles, that's really not serious police work, and that's really like a toy, not really a serious instrument as a tool of law enforcement. So I had to overcome that, and that's why we started the pilot program to overcome that kind of negative feeling and attitude. When they found that the response from the public was so overwhelmingly positive, that people really liked it, they enjoyed it in terms of community relations, but also they had an opportunity to really do real police work. They helped sneak up on criminals who never suspected that they would be cops because they're on bikes, and they could easily come up behind them versus being on a squad car. Yet they could still get off the bike and have a good rapport with the citizens. So overall, after the pilot program was started, it got further and further, and it really did a good job.
Using a bicycle for police work is very different from the way most of us use them. Just do it is a great slogan for selling shoes, but there is much more to riding a bike when you're a cop.
Stop! Police! Pull your car over to the side. Sir! You in a blue car. Police department! Stop the car!
In Milwaukee last month, police went through a rigorous program to earn certification as bike cops, some from as far away as Hawaii and Australia. With mock arrests and other tactical situations, they practice the specific skills needed in bicycle patrol operations.
I want you to react to this situation and react to her, whatever she does. I want you to use officer safety. First of all, I want you to use the bicycle as you've been taught. Use it as a defensive tool, use it as an offensive weapon if necessary. but approach the suspect with the caution that you would use in making a felony stop, okay? This is a basic police cyclist course, and what we're teaching here is, in addition to the police tactics that the officers will use on the bicycle, we're also teaching them how to ride a bicycle in traffic safely, okay? There are lots of courses around the United States cropping up everywhere where they teach officers the police aspect of it, the suspect apprehensions, etc., and how to ride off-road, rough terrain, and various things like that. But not many people concentrate on the on-road traffic portion of it like we do. And so this 4-day course encompasses just about everything that you'd have to know to safely ride a police mountain bike.
In all, over 300 police officers were in Milwaukee last month for the 5th annual International Police Mountain Bike Association Conference. They had the opportunity to train and share tips on controlling crime through bicycling. Sessions covered maintenance, nutrition, and firearm use, but riding techniques got much of the attention.
Now, I'm telling you, I broke bones and everything else on bicycles. There's nothing worse than being in a police uniform, having the eyes of the world upon you, doing something very simple and winding up on the ground with a bunch of dust off of you. This is a very simple exercise, very simple. It has a couple of things here to it. Number one is that looks pretty ominous. It's nothing. Once you do this, once you do some of these smaller pallets, and we get you up to do the double then the triple, you'll understand that it is nothing but a psychological barrier. It is not a physical barrier. If you do exactly what you're told, you'll be able to master this. If you do it your way, well, you may get through it, but you know, the odds are that you may not. But you're gonna have to be able to do these things and be a police officer.
Authorities say the testing provides training for officers to protect themselves as well as citizens and also reduces liability for police departments. And after a conference filled with physical and mental exercises, over 200 officers still had the strength and stamina to take a long bike ride. From the south side, over the Hone Bridge, and down to the lakefront, where they continued to show their endurance with team competition testing their bike handling skills. You can find virtually every type of recreational cycling experience in Milwaukee. Whether it's a bicycle trail or a public road, you should be following the rules of the road on a bike that's in good condition. Children learned all about safety at a recent bicycle rodeo sponsored by the City of Milwaukee Safety Commission. Regardless of age or bike riding habits, it was agreed that bike safety begins with the selection and consistent use of an approved helmet, and wearing it properly, not pushed back on the head, but worn parallel to the ground to work efficiently.
Okay, we need to wear your helmet forward this way for the purpose of, if you fall forward at any time, this gets caught, your helmet protects your forehead. There you go. I think you're all set now.
A local study shows that children 10 to 14 are most likely to be involved in a biking accident. And while a bike helmet will reduce the risk of head injury by 85%, we're told only 3% of bicyclists in the Milwaukee study were wearing one.
Helmets are very important. They've become lighter, more aerodynamic, and much cooler than the previous helmets of years ago. The technology is there for the helmets, and to prevent a head injury is a very important thing because it's not like a bump or a bruise on an elbow. A bump or bruise to the brain sometimes doesn't heal, and that's what controls all our functions for walking, talking, eating, and so forth. So if they can protect their head, especially kids, they're usually taking more risks. It's better for them to have a helmet to protect themselves if an accident would occur.
Parents should also make sure that bikes fit correctly, since the risk of losing control is greater if the bike is an improper size. And officials recommend that up to the age of 10 or 11, children should stay off the roads and ride on sidewalks or bike paths. Many of us simply go to the garage or basement, dust off the bike, and begin to ride. But in addition to safety, we need to check potential trouble spots. Local dealers helped out with a spring safety check during the bike rodeo.
Went over the brakes to make sure the brakes work and the tires are in good shape and have the proper inflation. and that the chain is lubed. That's basically what everybody needs to do when they first start out in the spring to get their bike in shape to take it out and have fun in the summer.
Right in the center, nice and slow. Right in the center, very good.
Children also need to learn how to ride a bike properly. They should be able to start the bike and ride a straight line without going outside a path 3 feet wide. Be able to stop with the brakes, not the feet, and stop without falling off.
Children, when riding a bicycle, have to understand that it's a vehicle. It's licensed to be in the city street, and when they're on the city streets, they have to obey the rules much like an automobile would. So in order for them to practice these skills, we have bike rodeos in a safe environment where they're not in traffic, just to see how well they can control their bike. For both adults and children, they should be able to balance a bike properly, maintain control, be able to avoid hazards in the road such as glass or debris. They should also be able to know the proper hand signals when making a stop, left or right-hand turn, so that they can communicate that to the motoring public.
Quick moving videos will get a youngster's attention, and the Milwaukee Safety Commission this year provided a bike safety video for use in the classroom.
The main thing is you want to get the big picture, seeing everything that could affect you. You do this by playing detective and looking for clues everywhere. To the front in your path of travel, to the sides in your peripheral vision, and glance around for clues to what bizarre things could happen in front or in back of you. If you're really paying attention in the right places, there won't be very many surprises that could get you in trouble.
The number one cause of getting in trouble in Milwaukee is failure to yield the right-of-way. Failure by the bicyclist caused 50 accidents last year. Failure by the motorist, another 49. Inattentive driving, darting out from between parked cars, and failure to obey traffic signals were other common causes. Remember, it's important to license your bike. An ID sticker, available at police stations and many bike dealers, costs $5 for 4 years. That can be very useful if your bike is stolen. It can help identify a child who is injured on a bicycle. Bikes are fun, but bikes can be dangerous. Follow a few simple rules and have a safe summer. You can take a leisurely walk with an old friend. Step up the pace using Skate Power. Enjoy a picnic in over 150 parks and parkways. Take a trip of nearly 100 miles on the bike trail. The city of Milwaukee doesn't have a specific recreation department, but we help pay for many summertime activities. Like the links, there's a county course just for you, 16 of them, each designed to provide the novice or scratch golfer with just the right blend of challenge and relaxation. And new this year, a golf discount card program. There are new attractions at the zoo this summer as the renovated Aquatic and Reptile Center reopens after 18 months. The Pacific Marine Coast exhibit with a remote control underwater camera will give visitors a close look at the new saltwater creatures.
This is 28,000 gallons of salt water, and what's going to be unique to it that we haven't had at the Milwaukee County Zoo for a while, we're going to have some sharks, we're going to have some rays, some anemones, some saltwater fish, some Garibaldis, which are bright yellow fish, which we're really excited to have. And probably the highlight, we think, of what we're calling the ARC is going to be our Pacific Coast octopus. And she's very active. She's got a 7-foot arm span, which is just wonderful. She moves, and when she moves, she changes colors, and she's just a fascinating, beautiful creature to watch, and we think it's going to draw big crowds.
The Lake Wisconsin exhibit remains as one of the most popular exhibits, and yes, that fish we dream about, the 20-pound muskie, is still among its residents. Water is always a draw, and boat launching ramps are available at 4 Lake Michigan locations. There are great fishing spots all over Milwaukee. The government pier at McKinley Beach is easy to reach, producing mostly perch, but the occasional trout or salmon. Or check out one of the 17 Milwaukee County Park lagoons. Some are stocked for trout. Most contain panfish of various kinds. It's not for the exotic angler for sure, but available for those who can't go up north. Remember, you'll need a fishing license if over 16. As hotter temperatures arrive, staying cool is a matter of safety for many people, especially the elderly, those with chronic diseases, and children under 4.
So most importantly, we want to remind people to limit physical activity. If it's really hot out, you may think you can do more than you can, and you push yourself a little bit more than you should. We don't want to see you overexert yourself. Drink plenty of liquids, of course. Wear loose-fitting clothes. If you don't have air conditioning in your home, there are places around where you can go, libraries, malls, maybe taking a movie. Go somewhere where it's a little cooler. That will help. We want to make sure that people are aware of their own physical symptoms. If you're experiencing some nausea, heart increase, rapid heart increases, pulse increases, you need to see a doctor. If you have a young child, if that child is having vomiting or diarrhea, you need to see a doctor. But in lieu of that, and most of us don't get to that point, common sense will help us out.
Kids and adults can benefit from the scores of summer fun events offered by the Milwaukee Public Schools Recreation Division. Activities range from tumbling teddy bears to baseball day camps. Children can enjoy the time-honored method of cooling off in a sprinkler at a number of Milwaukee public school playgrounds on those hot summer days. 6 playgrounds will provide what are called cool spots again this summer. Keeping cool heads is one goal of Safe Night, a summer activity designed to give teens a place to go to do positive things. In addition to social events, Safe Night offers role-playing sessions and other activities aimed at solving problems without violence.
Well, Safe Night started in Milwaukee, and it's a response to kids that said they needed something to do after school in the evening time in their neighborhoods. And they wanted to have something fun, and at the same time, we wanted to show them how to be safe from violence, since that was more prevalent than car accidents and diseases. And we came up with the idea, along with the Milwaukee Violence Prevention Coalition, to get volunteers to open up the community centers, their homes, their churches, their streets, even for block parties, and to have fun activities, combining that with lessons in conflict resolution, mediation, and anger management in a creative way that people will enjoy learning from.
Even ice has become as much a part of Wisconsin summers as lemonade. The Pettit National Ice Center will have a variety of activities during the summer months, including public skating hours, learn to skate, and youth hockey programs. A lot has changed since we beat the heat with just a cool breeze.